The boy was swimming by the sea when he almost drowned, but was saved by a mermaid. That night, the mermaid appeared in his yard and asked the boy to marry her, demanding that he take responsibility for what happened earlier that day. Nagasumi was instantly stunned. His parents, however, thought he had done something to the girl and, without question, gave him a beating. Nagasumi immediately explained that he had only drowned. Just then, a group of thugs appeared, claiming to be Sun's family. They came to invite the boy's family to meet Sun's parents. Nagasumi's parents were shocked to learn that the girl was the daughter of a gangster. They had a bad feeling, but since they didn't have a choice, they went alone. However, things took a turn when they were led to a cliff. Before they could understand what was happening, they were pushed off the edge. Nagasumi thought they were going to be killed to keep them quiet, but just then, Sun appeared beside him and took him underwater. There, he saw Sun's fish tail before he lost consciousness. When he woke up, he found himself face to face with a scarred man who called him a worthy son-in-law. Nagasumi was so frightened that he fainted again. The gang leader immediately ordered his subordinates to perform CPR, while Nagasumi's parents stayed silent. When Nagasumi regained consciousness, he quickly sat up and assured them that he was fine. The gang leader, seeing that they still didn't understand the situation, began to explain. Nagasumi looked around and saw men in suits seated on both sides, and fish swimming outside the glass windows. He was even more confused. Nagasumi's father explained that this was Sun's home, the home of the mermaids. The gang leader, sitting at the top, introduced himself as Sun's father. He explained that they had brought Nagasumi's family here because Sun had saved him. However, there was a rule in the mermaid clan: if a human sees a mermaid's true form, only one of them can survive. The gang leader didn't want to lose his daughter, so he had no choice but to pressure Nagasumi. Just as he was about to take action, Sun stood up to stop him, saying that killing an innocent person wasn't the mermaid clan's way. She had saved him, so the consequences should be hers to bear. This made Sun's father even angrier, and if it hadn't been for his subordinates holding him back, Nagasumi's family would likely not have survived. Sun's mother then suggested another solution. If Nagasumi married Sun, both sides could avoid harm. Nagasumi would become a mermaid son-in-law. Sun's father then threatened Nagasumi's family. If they refused, anyone who knew about mermaids would be killed. Seeing no other option, Nagasumi's parents reluctantly agreed, suggesting that marrying Sun might not be so bad. However, Nagasumi still felt that there was no emotional foundation between them. When Sun's father saw Nagasumi's refusal, he immediately ordered his men to capture Nagasumi's family. Panicking, Nagasumi opened the door, and water immediately flooded into the room. As the others were swept away by the water, Nagasumi ran outside. But Sun's father summoned sharks to attack Nagasumi. Fortunately, Sun arrived just in time and pulled him into a room. They were temporarily safe. Sun then led Nagasumi to escape, and once they were on land, she told him to leave quickly. Nagasumi looked at her fish tail and thought she wouldn't be able to escape, so he grabbed her and ran with her, afraid that if she let him go, she would face consequences. When they felt they were safe, Nagasumi asked Sun if her father would still pursue them. Sun replied that if he kept running away with her, her father would never forgive him. But Nagasumi, exhausted, sat down to talk with Sun. He asked why, knowing the mermaid clan's rules, she still saved him. Sun gazed into the distance and said that if she had let him die, it would have tarnished the mermaid's reputation. While Nagasumi was touched, Sun's father's voice suddenly echoed, and his subordinates appeared on the surface of the water, surrounding Nagasumi. Then, an octopus appeared, kicking Nagasumi towards Sun's father. As Sun's father raised a knife, Nagasumi realized he couldn't escape and quickly agreed to marry Sun, letting her decide whether to leave afterward. But Sun's father was still dissatisfied, saying that Sun was his daughter and that it was impossible for Nagasumi to marry her. At that moment, it became clear, Sun's father had never intended for Nagasumi to live.